Harry and Meghan chose now for their latest cosplaying sham royal tour. We'll get the verdict from Australia, where the egos have landed, and I have an exclusive announcement coming up about how Uncensored will be covering this momentous existential time for the royal family.
Despicable fake tears at Bondi Beach, using a terrorist atrocity to sell her shitty clothes.
For years, Meghan Markle has stood in the center of a storm where every smile becomes a headline, every glance becomes a theory, and every tear becomes a battlefield. But this time, the accusation exploded louder than usual. Piers Morgan didn't just criticize her. He practically declared war on the image many people believed was untouchable. He accused her of something audiences never forgive easily: performing pain, fake emotion, manufactured sympathy. A public moment turned into theater, and suddenly the internet lit up like dry grass touched by fire. Was he exposing something hidden in plain sight, or was this another chapter in a bitter obsession that refuses to die? That question still hangs in the air, sharp and uncomfortable. When Prince Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, the world was told a clean story. They wanted peace, distance, freedom from cameras, pressure, judgment, and palace rules. It sounded simple. Two people walking away from a machine that had consumed them. Many sympathized, many believed them. It felt like an escape story, modern and brave. But then something strange happened. They never truly disappeared. Instead of fading quietly into private life, they remained everywhere. Interviews, appearances, carefully timed public moments, massive headlines across continents. Their names still carried the same electricity, maybe even more than before. That's where the contradiction started whispering. If they wanted privacy, why did visibility keep following them so closely? If they wanted distance from royal life, why did their appearances still feel wrapped in royal symbolism? It wasn't the exit people expected. It looked less like leaving the stage and more like changing the lighting. And that is why every move now gets studied like evidence. They are no longer official royals, yet they still move through the world with royal gravity. Their travel attracts global attention. Their statements ripple across media systems. Their presence can dominate news cycles in hours. It creates a confusing identity no one can fully define. Private citizens, global celebrities, shadow royals operating outside palace walls, even critics and supporters can't agree. But confusion breeds curiosity, and curiosity breeds obsession. Then came the moment that reignited everything: Bondi Beach, a place already heavy with grief after tragedy had shaken the community. The atmosphere was sensitive before anyone arrived. Emotions were already close to the surface. Into that setting walked Meghan, surrounded by lenses, photographers, and relentless attention. Nothing there was private. Every step had witnesses. Every movement had angles. Every expression had the potential to become tomorrow's front page. Then it happened. A tear. Just one visible tear sliding down her face. Small moment, massive impact. The image spread instantly. To many, it was human and moving. A woman emotionally touched by sorrow, pain, and the weight of the place she was visiting. Supporters saw compassion. They saw sincerity. They saw empathy in real time. But critics saw something else entirely. They saw timing too perfect to ignore. Cameras positioned just right. The tear visible with cinematic clarity. The frame polished almost beyond belief. And once that suspicion entered the room, it poisoned everything. Was this grief or branding disguised as grief? Was this spontaneous pain or a moment the cameras were meant to capture? Piers Morgan seized on that doubt like a prosecutor spotting weakness in testimony. He suggested the world had watched performance, not authenticity. And that accusation landed because modern audiences are suspicious by instinct. They know fame is managed. They know images are curated. They know emotion can be monetized. In an age where every public figure understands optics, even genuine feelings can look staged. That is the tragedy of celebrity itself. Real tears can be doubted. Fake tears can be praised. Nobody knows anymore. Then another detail poured gasoline on the fire. Reports linked Meghan's outfit from the visit to fashion promotion and lifestyle branding conversations. Suddenly, the emotional scene became tangled with commerce. That changed how many critics interpreted everything. What first looked like compassion now looked strategic to them. Respect mixed with visibility. Grief mixed with image management. Emotion mixed with marketing. And once people start asking whether pain was useful, the story becomes dangerous. Because now it is no longer about a tear. It is about intent. Did she feel something real? Possibly. Did cameras capture it? Absolutely. Did that moment also strengthen public image? Perhaps. And in the ruthless world of perception, perhaps is enough to keep controversy alive for years. That is why Bondi Beach became bigger than one emotional second. It became a symbol of the Meghan debate itself. Every supporter sees humanity where critics see calculation. Every defender sees cruelty in the backlash where opponents see justified skepticism. Two realities, one image, endless war. And through it all, Piers Morgan kept pushing harder, louder, sharper. He knew exactly what he was doing. Challenge the tear, and you challenge the entire narrative built around vulnerability. Question the authenticity, and you question everything that followed after. So the real mystery remains chillingly simple. Did he expose something uncomfortable? Or did he attack a woman in pain because outrage keeps his own spotlight burning? Either way, the tear fell once, but the fallout never stopped. The deeper this saga goes, the less it feels like a celebrity feud, and the more it feels like a public trial with no judge, no verdict, and no ending. Because after Bondi Beach, the questions did not disappear. They multiplied. Every appearance by Meghan Markle and Prince Harry began to carry a strange double meaning. What should have looked like charity, outreach, or visibility often became interpreted as strategy, branding, or reputation repair. The audience no longer simply watched. They investigated. They compared words with actions. They examined tone, timing, clothing, body language, and location like detectives studying a crime scene. That is the cost of becoming symbols instead of people. As the couple continued public engagements, another criticism grew louder. Many observers said these events no longer felt like ordinary appearances. They felt like curated influence campaigns, wellness gatherings, premium access environments, inspirational settings, selective media moments. All of it created a new question. If they left royal duty behind, what exactly replaced it? Service? Entrepreneurship? Celebrity monarchy? The line blurred more each time they stepped into public view. Critics argued that the aura of royalty was still being used, only now without palace restraint. Supporters argued they were simply adapting to modern life and building independence on their own terms. But once again, two realities collided, and neither side was willing to surrender. Then came a moment many considered even more revealing than any speech or interview. At a major sporting event, cameras turned toward Harry and Meghan on the giant screen. Normally, such moments create instant noise, cheers, excitement, phones raised high, the crowd responding to star power. But this time, the reaction was strangely muted. No roaring applause, no wave of excitement, just scattered noise swallowed by a larger silence. And silence in public life can be more brutal than boos. It suggests not hatred, but fading emotional investment, not rage, but exhaustion. That subtle shift may be the most dangerous development of all. Public figures can survive criticism. They can survive mockery. They can even survive scandal. But indifference? That is colder, harder, more final. Because when people stop caring enough to cheer or boo, the connection starts dying quietly. This is where Piers Morgan re-enters the battlefield like a man who never left it. Years ago, his clash with Meghan became one of the loudest media feuds in Britain. His dramatic departure from television after fierce backlash only made the conflict bigger. Some saw him as a truth-teller punished for blunt honesty. Others saw him as obsessed, vindictive, and incapable of letting go. But he did not retreat. He rebuilt, expanded, and returned louder than before. New platforms, bigger audiences, sharper attacks, and Meghan remained one of his favorite targets. Morgan's argument has stayed consistent. He says Harry and Meghan wanted freedom from royal responsibility while keeping royal privilege, recognition, and commercial power. In his view, they rejected duty but retained status, left the institution but kept the benefits. He frames them as unofficial royals operating outside official rules, using global fascination while condemning the system that created that fascination. Whether one agrees or not, the accusation resonates because it touches a nerve many people already feel but struggle to define. And above all of this stands King Charles III, caught in an impossible position. Monarch on one side, father on the other. Many expected decisive action by now regarding titles, roles, boundaries, or public messaging. Yet the palace response has largely been silence, strategic silence, royal silence. But silence itself becomes a statement when controversy refuses to fade. Some interpret it as patience. Others see weakness. Others believe it is a family wound too painful to expose publicly. Then there is Prince William, widely viewed as protector of the monarchy's future. To many observers, viewers, this is no longer just about sibling tension. It is about institutional survival. The crown depends on discipline, continuity, symbolism, and trust. If the idea of being half in, half out becomes normalized, critics fear the monarchy itself begins to lose shape. What are royal duties if titles can exist separately from service? What is sacrifice if celebrity offers richer rewards? That old principle once associated with Queen Elizabeth II still echoes loudly: you cannot have one foot inside the crown and one foot outside it. Duty required full commitment. Today, that principle is being stress tested in front of the entire world. So when Piers Morgan attacks Meghan's tears, he may appear to be criticizing one woman and one moment. But the reason the argument keeps exploding is because it represents something larger: authenticity versus performance, duty versus celebrity, privacy versus publicity, freedom versus privilege, emotion versus image. That is why the story refuses to die. Maybe Meghan was genuinely moved. Maybe the cameras simply captured what happened. Maybe critics are projecting suspicion onto humanity. Or maybe the modern fame machine has become so polished that sincerity and strategy now arrive wearing the same face. And perhaps that is the most unsettling truth of all. No one fully knows where performance ends and reality begins anymore. Not the audience, not the media, not even the people living inside it. So the tear still glitters in memory. Piers Morgan still attacks. The palace still stays cautious. The public still watches, though perhaps with less passion than before. And somewhere beneath all the noise, one final question remains unanswered. If the spotlight they claim to escape is still shining brighter than ever, who is really keeping it on?